Hey, welcome. Today we're going to talk about the speed of money. And no, I don't mean how fast you can wire it or spend it. I'm talking about how fast a business can get every single dollar it invests right back into its pocket. So let's just dive right in.
I want you to imagine something for me. Let's say your company spends $100 today on materials. How many days does it take for that exact $100 to go on its journey? From being a raw material to becoming a finished product, getting sold, and then finally, landing back in your bank account as cold, hard cash. This really isn't just a question. It's a race. A race every single efficient business has to win.
And the stopwatch for that race? Well, it's this metric right here, the cash conversion cycle, or CCC for short. It's basically the ultimate measure of how well a company is running things. It tells you, in days, how long your cash is tied up before it comes back home. And trust me, a lower number is almost always better.
So let's get a real handle on this race your cash is running. Because understanding the cycle is seriously one of the most powerful ways you can quickly figure out how healthy a company is and, frankly, how good its management team is at their job.
Okay, so this race has three different parts, three distinct stages. You can think of them as three key clocks that are always ticking. Let's break down each leg of this race one by one.
The very first clock is Days Inventory Outstanding, or DIO. This is all about how long your cash is just sitting there on a shelf, locked up as a product. It's the time from the moment you get that inventory to the moment you sell it. And for this part of the race, the goal is pretty simple. You want a low number. A low DIO means your stuff is just flying off the shelves. Demand is high. But a high number? Oof, that's a huge warning sign that your cash is basically just gathering dust.
All right, the second clock starts ticking the very second you make a sale. This is your Days Sales Outstanding, or DSO. It measures how long you have to wait to actually collect the cash from your customers. The sale is done, sure, but that money isn't in your account just yet.
And just like with your inventory, a low number here is exactly what you're shooting for. A low DSO means your customers pay you fast. A high DSO, on the other hand, means your cash is pretty much trapped in a pile of unpaid invoices and you can't use it for anything.
Okay, so this brings us to our third and final clock, Days Payable Outstanding, or DPO. But this one is a little different. I want you to think of this as a head start in the race, a head start that your suppliers are giving you. It's the average time you take to pay your bills. So here's the twist, and this is the crucial part. For DPO, a higher number is actually a good thing for your company. Kind of flips the script, right? A low number means you pay your bills almost immediately. But a high number? Well, that means you're holding on to your cash longer, letting you use it for operations or other investments before it ever has to leave your account.
So, we've got our three clocks. Now, it's time to put them all together and figure out our final race time, the cash conversion cycle itself.
The formula itself is actually pretty straightforward. You just add the time your cash is tied up in inventory, that's DIO, and the time it's tied up waiting for customers to pay, that's DSO. And then you subtract the head start your suppliers give you, your DPO. It perfectly shows you the entire cash journey.
Now, to get these numbers, you do need to pull some data from the financial statements. You can see the formulas here. For DIO, you're basically looking at your average inventory compared to the cost of the stuff you sold. And for DSO, it's a very similar idea. You're comparing what your customers owe you, your accounts receivable, to your total sales.
And then finally for DPO, you're looking at what you owe your own suppliers. Look, let's not get too bogged down in the math. The real key here is just knowing that these three smaller numbers are the building blocks. The concept behind them is what really truly matters.
So you've crunched the numbers, you got your score. But what does it actually tell you? Let's take a look at why a low score is the mark of a true champion in this race.
See, a consistently low or shrinking CCC is a sign of a super healthy company. But if you see that number start to creep up, that is a major red flag. It could mean your products aren't selling well anymore, maybe your customers are having trouble paying you, or your own suppliers are getting tough and demanding faster payments. Just think about a company like Amazon for a second. They have a negative cash conversion cycle. That's insane. It means they collect cash from us, the customers, before they even have to pay their suppliers. It's like getting a free loan to fund their entire operation. That's the power of mastering the cycle.
So how can a manager actually use this information to win the race? Let's walk through a quick little scenario just to see how one small strategic move can make a massive difference to a company's financial health. Think of this as the winning move in the final lap.
All right, here's the situation. You're a manager. You just negotiated better terms with the supplier.
Now you have 45 days to pay them instead of the old 30. So based on everything we've just talked about, what happens to your company's cash conversion cycle?
And the answer is your CCC will go down, which, as we know, is a huge win for the company. By increasing your days payable outstanding, that head start we talked about, you're subtracting a bigger number from the formula. That shortens the whole cycle and frees up your company's cash for an extra 15 days. That's huge.
And that really brings us to our final thought. Now that you get the 3 levers you can pull, selling faster, collecting sooner, and paying slower, what's one specific thing that your business, or maybe a company you follow, could do right now to shorten its cash cycle and get more efficient? Because the race for cash, well, it's always on.